and welcome to MCSC 9320 PUBcast. And as you can see, the beast is back amongst the beauties, Anne-Marie and Paddy.
That's one description.
Thank you for stepping in last week, guys. I was a little bit worse for wear over in España, but yeah, I really enjoyed the show. I watched it back. And I thought it was a very good show without me. Which was,
well, you know, we tried.
Yeah.
More than succeeded. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, so massive game tomorrow. I don't really want to go on about the Brentford match really, because A, I didn't really see it, and B, everyone's telling me, oh, you know, it didn't really matter. Well, I thought it did really matter because I thought we should have played a few more experienced players. But by the by, let's go on to the FA Cup final tomorrow. Are we nervous?
I am
Not at the moment.
Yeah. I don't know if Pep was playing what they call them stupid mind games, but like if he is telling the truth and Diaz and Grealish were injured and not training and have only been training the last couple of days, that would be a concern for me because they're not going to be match fit.
Have you seen his presser today?
No.
Yeah, I've seen his presser. He says everybody's back in training. They've had a couple of good days with training under the belt. So, you know, let's get straight into what our predicted teams are, because it's confirmed that Ortega will be starting tomorrow.
Which is right, and as it should be. Yeah,
I totally. Would you go with that, Paddy, Ortega? No, you'd go with Edison straight away, wouldn't you? I can understand that, no sentiment and stuff like that, mate. But we know it's Ortega now, so Pep's confirmed it.
Unless it's doing that, you know, but like it shows loyalty in one regard and
stupidity in another.
No, I wouldn't say that. Jesus Christ, I think he's grown out of that phase. Look, fair dues to him if he plays and does well, but like my kind of thinking would be that Edison should play.
Okay, so we know it's Ortega. I'm going to give you my back four. Tell me if you disagree with any of them. And by the way, this is the back four I think he'll go with, not necessarily what I want him to start with. I'm going to go for Walker, Stones, Diaz, and Ake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a case there for feeling sorry for a Kanji not starting if that is the back four? Back four is, we'll call it a back four because we know it's not always a 4-4-2. So
I've gone for a Kanji in my lineup rather than Walker.
Rather than Walker.
Yeah.
Do you not feel, and I'm playing devil's advocate as I always do, you not feel that Walker has earned his stripe a little bit by his performances against Arsenal, his performances against Bayern Munich, Real Madrid? Oh, you've not thought of that, have you?
No, I have thought of it, but I just think on the most solid back four that we've had this season, it has to be a Kanji.
Over Walker, where United could potentially be having Rashford starting there?
I've got confidence in a Kanji. And there's just an element of concern with Walker that, yes, he's got the pace, but if he's getting ruffled, he's liable to make a mistake or, you know, do stupid fouls that aren't necessary.
Well, I think every one of our defenders has got a bit of that in them. I would feel sorry for a Kanji, Paddy. However, if we're going back to what we were saying a minute ago about Edison, would that be sentimental putting a Kanji in there because of how he's performed, or would it be sensible by Pep by putting somebody who's more of an out-and-out fullback there? be it fullback or I think he will play a fullback on the right there rather than inverted because he doesn't. He never plays Walker there when he does the inversion, does he?
No, because well, he said Walker can't do that job, so that's definitely happened. In terms of Akanji, he hasn't really done anything to indicate that he should be dropped.
Mm-hmm.
But again, my personal preference would be Aki, and that's just me. Like, we all know how United are going to play. They're going to sit back. We play a high line, balls over the top for Rashford. Who's going to catch Rashford? Because Akanji's not. Walker is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason why I put Walker in there because Rashford will be up against Walker.
I still think there between Walker and Ake, it's up in the air, Anne-Marie. Whereas I think Stones and Diaz is more nailed on, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
And it could be a case of he plays Akanji and not Aki.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah. And if there's not just like we're only splitting hairs because there's not much of a difference between Akanji and Aki in my eyes in terms of performance levels and the reading of the game. The Aki might be just that little bit faster, but apart from that, I think we're splitting hairs.
I think Aki's more of a defender. You know, as in, if a bit of defending needs to be done, Aki's more there to do. But I agree, Paddy. I think we are splitting hairs there because I think we're blessed. With if he goes with that back four or it brings a Kanji in instead of either Aki or Walker, I think we're blessed with that back four anyway.
Yeah.
But no mention of Laporte. And you would have thought, everyone would have thought we was crazy if we'd have even gone down that trail of thought, wouldn't it, last season, like without, how can you leave Laporte out? But I think even Laporte knows he wouldn't get regular in that back 4 or 5, however Pep plays it.
But that's just under competition within the squad, like for places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone like, look, Laporte is not stupid. He knows that he mightn't like it, but if he's honest with himself, that the starting pair will be Stones and Diaz because they're the strongest. Yeah. Not to say that Laporte's a bad player because he's far from it. And I really hope he doesn't leave.
I've said it a few times. I've said it a few times, Paddy. I don't know if you've heard when we've done the show and stuff like that. I'm sure Anne-Marie. Why I'm really disappointed with Laporte. Yeah, he effectively contributed massively to us winning the league last season. But Aki had the fight and the courage to bide his time, to try and dislodge Laporte. And when he got ahead of Laporte, it's like he ain't taking my place back. Laporte's almost gone. I'll just move on. Where's the fight? Where's the fight in him? Where's that fire in his belly?
But where's the evidence to say he is moving on?
He won't stay because he's talking Gravidal coming in and stuff like that now, isn't there?
Yeah.
So he was crying his eyes out, wasn't he, on against Chelsea? Yeah. So I think, and before that, he put something on his Instagram account and stuff like that. I won't say Insta because I know you're old in technology and that's all. I'll say Instagram for you, Paddy.
Thank you.
Yeah. We put.
You can abbreviate it now. I understand now, but Insta is.
I just. For me, Laporte's gone. For whether it's right or wrong, as I say, I'm disappointed in no fighting him. So we more or less agree on the back four there. I think Roger's going to start. That'd be silly not to even think that.
He better start.
I'm going for Bernardo, Gundo, KDB, Grealish in the midfield. Is there an argument for anyone else starting there, Anne-Marie?
No. The only one that I kind of feel a bit sorry for in that is Foden, but he'll play his part in the game tomorrow. There's no doubt about it. And it's the right thing to do. That setup is the right setup to have. It's worked for us, particularly this second half of the season. So why would you change it?
Absolutely, and it sounds bonkers, Paddy, doesn't it? When we're looking at a midfield of Rodri, Bernardo, Gundo, KDB, and Grealish, and we're not even mentioning Foden or even Mahrez. For whatever right or wrong. Two quality players there, and they're not even in our trail of thought to start tomorrow, are they?
No.
Go on, Emery.
Well, I was going to say part of the issue is Pep's always saying that you have to play yourself into the team, and just going off what I saw last week against Brentford, the one that was most likely to play the way into the team was Foden, certainly not Mahrez. And that's the bottom line of it. That's not just my Mahrez hating glasses. That's just
no. Listen, for anybody watching, Anne-Marie isn't a Mahrez hater. There's a lot of banter what goes on our shows, regarding, Anne-Marie and Mahrez and stuff like that. But she's always there to give the credit if and when Mahrez is, So as I say, anybody who's watching, it's just a bit of banter. That we know the big man's going to be starting up front. Touch wood, barring an injury or something like that. So I think that touch wood, that team should beat United, Paddy.
They should. And just to go back to the point where Anne-Marie was making there about Foden, yes, I do feel sorry for him because he is coming back in the form. In terms of Mahrez, it's all about levels. He's not. It's not that he doesn't have the capability or the ability to play in that team. It's like maybe that earlier point that you said there about Laporte. Does he have the desire? Because when Mahrez decides to turn it on, there's nobody better in that position.
And there's nobody I've ever seen in world football who's got a better first touch.
No.
He's the first touch he's got it's incredible, and I'd say it's rubbing off as well on Foden and Grealish, that first touch as well, because when that ball's being pinged now, you can see the way Grealish and that now they're controlling the ball, so it must be something they're working on.
Well, they keep you ever seen them practicing? They're about 50 or 60 yards apart. The ball's mid-air all the time. And it's always Foden, Grealish, and Mahrez that are doing it. Yeah. So I think it's by no accident.
And like you say, there's nothing to say that these players don't come on and make their impact on the game. Mm-hmm. Because things happen.
Yeah. So we're not a million miles out with our starting what would be starting 11 there for for tomorrow's final, aren't we? Which again. One thing, two things that I picked up out of Pep's presser today. One was Ortega starts, as I said earlier. And the second one, he was asked about Bernardo. He went, "Is it Bernardo's last FA Cup game for Manchester City?" And Pep he paused and went, "We've got another final to go." So the journalist asked him again, will it be Bernardo's last game for the club? And Pep was like, "I hope not, but who knows?" And I thought that was the strongest indication yet, Anne-Marie, that looks like they're obviously trying to keep Bernardo, but that didn't seem really.
And it's strange that they asked about Bernardo, but not Gundogan.
Gundo, absolutely. You stole me thunder there.
But I'm hoping that they both stay. If I had to pick, I love Erling. He's done a great job for us this season. I think Kevin is an incredible player. But if I had to pick my favourite, it would be Bernardo every day of the week, because I don't think there's a player on that pitch plays as hard and as covers every blade of grass every game he plays.
Don't you think he spoils it by causing the uncertainty? And will he go down as another Yaya? Again, I love devil's advocate, as you know.
Because unlike Yaya, he's not slagging off the club. He's not slagged off the manager at any point. So you can't even put them in the same breath for me.
Would you go with your blessing?
If it's what he wanted, then yes, he could. But I think he'll be a big loss for us if he does go. So obviously we've got no idea who we might bring in. So it could be, it could be an unbelievable replacement we've got.
Well, I've got some ideas. So from what we're seeing, Kovacic is done from Chelsea. Listen, when I heard that, I was a bit underwhelmed, Paddy.
He's a decent player, though.
He's decent. But so is Phillips.
Ultimately, we've got to trust Pep, because Pep, and it's not just a case of Pep would rather bring somebody. It sounds like a know him, but we sort of know him the way he thinks and stuff like that, don't we? It's almost like Pep would think, I'm not going to bring a £200 million superstar in if he won't fit into how I want him to play. I'd rather bring a Kovacic in who I know will do a job. Because if Gundo does go, I can see Kovacic starting as well as Rodri.
So can I. But I also think in doing that, it gives us... He's more experienced than Phillips. So it would be a case of, if we had to give Rodri a rest, we've got somebody else we can put in that place that would be more able to adapt to that style of play maybe than Phillips. So I can see why. And actually, for the money they're talking, it's a snip, because it's something like 28 million, isn't it? 35 million, something like that.
Well, Chelsea have a fire sale to get rid of players, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So let's sort of fast forward a little bit, and again, we'll come back to the FA Cup final in a few minutes. But I just think it's good to get the transfers in and maybe how we will look. Listen, I still think Bellingham's in the frame. I really, really do. There's something there. Yeah, Fabrizio, whatever he's called, he keeps saying it's almost done at Real Madrid. I still think he'll come to say it. I really, really do. Especially,
you see the Barcelona manager, what do you call him, Xavi, is it? He was asked about Bernardo there by a reporter, and his response, which I didn't think he would have come out with, but he actually said, yes, we were talking to Bernardo last season to come, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. He didn't go into detail, but he was supposed to go to Barcelona last season. But then when Cancelo came up, Barcelona wanted him, and City point blank refused to give him to Barcelona. And I just wonder, is that because they know Bernardo was going to Barcelona this season?
I think they've got a gentleman's agreement with Bernardo that he stayed this season, and they'll let him go. I think that was more evident in Pep's press conference, Anne-Marie, today. You saw the press conference, Anne-Marie. Yeah. How did you see that when you was in work and it was 1:30? Well, I hope your bosses do not listen to this.
No, they don't. But I was having my lunch at the time. So I was perfectly... So I was watching, and the thing that struck me is Pep just seemed pretty chilled out, actually, in that press conference. I don't think he's... he had a good night last night watching Elton John, who I'll be seeing tomorrow night.
There was a few there's a few City players at the Coldplay concert last night as well.
There was,
Julian Alvarez, I think Stones was there, Jack Grealish was there, but they all looked.
Bernardo.
Yeah, Bernardo.
And Gundogan sat beside him.
Yeah. So they do look. Let
me ask you this: if Bellingham is worth 200 million or 120 million sterling, what's the difference between him and Bernardo Silva?
If who's worth what? Sorry.
If Bellingham, who's supposed to be
if he's worth
for 120 million,
yeah.
Like what's Bernardo Silva one or worse?
I think the difference between that, my friend, is Jude Bellingham is English, and everyone just seems to overhype English prices for some reason, and also probably the length of contracts what Bellingham is under at Dortmund as well, versus what Bernardo was at City. But yeah, I do. Sadly, I do believe Bernardo's going now, especially after that presser. So, if we're looking for like, probably saying Gundo for Kovacic, which is done. Or is Gundo staying, Anne-Marie? It's gone quiet, hasn't it?
It's gone quiet, and I just think the club won't move on the 1-year contract. That's what I think.
No, they've banged a 2-year contract down.
Have they?
Yep.
And there's...
wanted it?
No, it's come from people inside City who do know. So they have put a 2-year contract down.
Well, then it'll be down to his missus, won't it? And she's not a fan of the food. So
I'm not a fan of German food or Spanish food. But if that was the best place for my wife to ply her trade, it's a sacrifice what you make for their futures and the careers, really, isn't it? So it'd be a little bit selfish. Listen, if it happens, it happens. However, there'll be a Kovacic and a worldie coming in. I guarantee there'll be a worldie coming in. There's a lot of people saying, they prefer Kimmich, which I totally understand. I think he's a quality player. But that's only speculation. With regards to Laporte going, which we only can assume that he's going, Paddy, that if we are still looking at Gavidol, which apparently we are, there's some sort of a more than noise in there. There's more than noise going there. That's going to put even Aki under so much pressure again, isn't it? With which we know Aki will thrive under, because Gavidol, the money what he'll be brought in on, say £80 million, he won't be wanting to come in just to fight for his place and expect others just to roll over while he just walks in the team.
But do you not think that's going to put players off coming to us?
Yeah, it could do, mate. It could do. So,
because, if he's coming and he knows what's ahead of him, and a Spanish international is leaving because he can't get his place, unless he has full-on self-confidence and self-belief and full of self-esteem that I can dislodge one of these guys and take my place in that team, they're not coming.
Bang on, Anne-Marie.
I'd agree with that, because you look at Stones and Diaz now, and which one of them you couldn't drop either of them. The form they're in.
Listen, and I've said this for a long time, because my mate Mike, who I sit next to at the Etihad, he said to me once, "Don't you think Stones plays makes Diaz play better, and Diaz makes Stones play better. And I went, yeah. You know, when you really think about it, because if you think about it, I don't think Diaz plays as well when Stones is not on the side of him, and vice versa.
And Vincent Company and Les Scott were the same.
Mm-hmm.
Put somebody in beside Les Scott, and it was like somebody swapped them out during the night.
But with
put
something
beside them.
Yeah, with something you've said there, though, Paddy, and I think it's a great debating point where if a Gavidol doesn't fancy himself to come and dislodge somebody, it's not the kind of attitude I'd want in a player anyway joining us.
No.
I'd want somebody who'd think, you know, something, I will sign and I'll be in that team because I'm better than Aki, I'm better than Akanji, I'm better than Diaz, I'm better than Stone, and that's the confidence what you want. Whereas Phillips come in, I feel sorry for Phillips because he was never going to come in and overtake Rodri, was he? No. And it's shown when Rodri's only been half fit, he's been playing, and for me that speaks volumes about Phillips. I still think I heard something very interesting as well. I forgot to say when I was away last week. I was talking to a couple of Leeds fans, and they had it on good authority. Phillips was going back there on loan if Leeds had stayed up last season. If they'd stayed up for next season, Phillips was going back there on loan.
Yeah, he's not going to go back there now.
No, he's not. But there's an option of Burnley in there for him, I think, because for the best will in the world, you can't just nail it at the door of Phillips when we say the last 3 Premier League games have been a bit. We understand that because it's like after the Lord Mayor's parade because we've already won the Premier League, but I still think we should have kept a bit more momentum going with the players. I really, really do. And I got slaughtered, threats and everything on Twitter when I just think Pep should have played a few more stronger players in these games to keep the momentum going and stuff like that. And I got slaughtered for it. But I'll stand by what I'm saying, Paddy.
Well, Twitter's a cesspit. You know what I mean?
It is, but I do get where people are coming from.
Yeah.
You know,
okay, then.
The concern, I mean, I'd be concerned. What would we, you know, heaven forbid, Grealish had a really bad injury, or Haaland got himself injured, or Kevin got himself injured.
That could happen in training.
It could happen in training, but that's in training.
It's about reducing the risk.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that. It's about reducing the risk. However, some of them have had pretty much three games rest now. So people are thinking, yeah, they're nice and fresh. They're nice and fresh for the finals now. Doesn't work like you need match momentum. It's not because they won't be putting it in fully in training. No, there's no way. There's no way they will be fully out in training. So then you've got to think you've got some of these players who might be a little bit match rusty going into the final. So listen, ultimately we'll know tomorrow, won't we? We'll know.
That team, as we picked it, hasn't played together since Everton.
Absolutely, and that's my concern. But as everything in life, when you put something in print, be it Twitter, emails, or anything, it's not always read the way it's intended.
No.
So that was just my concern, right? Let's get back to tomorrow then, because it's listen. Which one are you more nervous for, tomorrow or the Champions League final? Me, tomorrow, and that's not because it's the next match. It's for I don't want them to beat us.
No, I'd rather lose the Champions League final than lose tomorrow.
I get slaughtered for that as well, Paddy. But I
agree with you about monkeys, and I know what the club wants, and I know probably what every other fan wants. But at the end of the day, United are our rivals. Champions League, we won it, great. I'll applaud them and whatever. We lose it, I won't be too upset. Lose tomorrow, and I will be upset.
And you know something? I think with your attitude, what you just said there is the same as my attitude. What I said. I think that's people thinking that when City step out in Istanbul next weekend, that we're not bothered. Of course we're bothered. If City are playing tiddlywinks, I want City to win tiddlywinks. But it doesn't stop me having a preference. I mean, preference is tomorrow. Again, I was talking to a couple of United fans this week, wasn't it? And they said, I hate City more than I ever hated any team. And I went, brilliant. It was like, I said, that's how it should be. You know, I said, it's just because you have not been successful over the past God knows how many years, and we have. Our focus has gone over to Liverpool a little bit, like your focus was Liverpool when we wasn't so good. I said, but now, you know, they're more or less there or thereabouts, aren't they? You know, challenging and whatever. Obviously, I can't say what I was going to say then. But my attention has gone straight back to United now, because I know next season they'll be challenging. But before next season, I don't want them to stop us. Like, nobody wants them to stop us tomorrow, but they will be going out for whatever they can tomorrow. I think you're going to see a few crunching tackles early doors on your Rodri, on your Haaland, on your KDB. It's going to need a strong referee performance tomorrow. However, I don't think we're going to get one of them, Anne-Marie.
No, I can't actually remember who the referee is, but you know, referees are in a, as we've seen this week with Anthony Taylor, you know, love or hate the man as a referee, the abuse he's had to put up with from Mourinho and with his family walking through the airport, absolutely disgusting, and that is all down to Mourinho. Absolutely,
he led that from start to finish, Mourinho.
Of course he did. And even throughout the game, you know, it was that's my concern for the Champions League final. Not the referee, but the play acting, the gathering around the referee from Inter Milan, that kind of thing, which we know, you know, it's not just Italian or Spanish teams that do it. You know, we can be guilty of it at times too.
Not as much, and I think that's where the British mentality comes in, because although Pep's a foreign manager and we've got a lot of foreign players, if you think about it, you don't really see Bernardo rolling round or Gundogan rolling round, Rodri rolling round. When they go down, they seem to be genuinely injured. Ederson doesn't roll round when he's being fouled and stuff like that. So, listen, anything in life, you're led by the man at the top or the woman at the top. Yeah. And Pep's that's not Pep's mentality, especially since he came over to manage us. But you're absolutely right. My concern is about the standard. Can you call it standard next week? But more the play acting, and I still think people don't want us to win it. Corruption.
I think there's an element of that as well, but also I just think, like, for tomorrow, I watched the Barnsley Sheffield United game.
Oh, what a game!
It was a fantastic game for a neutral, but the game changed completely at the start of the second half when the referee didn't give a penalty and then gave a red card.
Was it a red card? Was it a red card, by the way?
No, it wasn't.
See, I thought it was a red card. Obviously, I'd had a few tequila rolls and stuff like that, but it looked a penalty to me. So it wasn't.
It was a penalty. It should have been a penalty.
Sorry, a red card.
And it wasn't a red card, but VAR did nothing to intervene with either decision, and that's what worries me more about tomorrow
and next week.
And do you know what will be the guilty party tomorrow? The biggest guilty party often tomorrow will be Casemiro. He gets away with blue water. He gets away with tackle after tackle after tackle. They can't see the intent on what he's actually doing.
We saw that last season, Paddy, when we played Real Madrid in the second leg. He should have been sent off in the first half.
Do you think that's an element of he's not that kind of player normally?
Well, he'd never received a red card till he came to this country.
And how many has he had? Three, is it? 2, 3?
Not enough. Not enough.
He hasn't had enough.
So
maybe tackles where he's hatching at people.
So are we wrong in what we've just assumed then? That since he's come here, he's had 2 red cards, so maybe our officials are not actually falling for it.
But Jesus, the red cards that he had, Stevie Wonder, but he sent him off.
True story.
Because of the tackles. You know,
so I don't know whether it's fair.
Says, who's the ref tomorrow?
I don't know whether it's fair to ask you for a prediction tomorrow.
3-1 City.
And it's good to see we've got the green man back tomorrow. 3-1 Anne-Marie. Go on, Paddy.
I'm going to go with Anne-Marie. I think they will score, but it'll be 3-1. I'm torn between 3-1 and 4-1. If we turn up, play the game that we want to play, and the ref is fair and
that small word is massive, mate. So
I want the match to finish and not to be talking about a referee.
Yeah.
But regardless of the result, like the referee shouldn't be spoken about after a match.
Right. One last game. I think we'll do one last question. Because I know Anne-Marie's dying to get a tea. Should I go out for the match or watch it at home?
Watch it at home.
Home. Paddy.
Home with a big bottle of 7-Up.
Are we allowed to say that brand yet? So I'm staying at home. We will see. Listen, we'll do a show on Sunday as per. But I just thought it was good. It's good to do a little bit of a preview.
And just for anybody who's watching this, maybe on the way to Wembley tomorrow or whatever, stay safe, look after each other. Don't get involved with the dickheads.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because, you know something, there's a lot more things in life more important than football, as much as we're all in bricks about tomorrow. So, yeah, absolutely endorse what you're saying there, Anne-Marie. So, yeah, we'll do it all again. Just hope it comes through for us. And we'll touch upon the Champions League final more on Sunday night. But come on, City. Thanks for joining us, guys. And we'll do it again on Sunday. Bye-bye now.
Take care, everyone.
See you Sunday.
Bye.